Hello, welcome to Mississippi Family Homestead's live stream. We're trying to do something a little different tonight. We are kind of in our backyard and we're having a little fire tonight. It's a nice, not real cold night, but it's a nice night to be outside.
Yep, it's pretty outside, and we're just here about it. Welcome to the campfire. We're just sitting here enjoying the campfire, and we thought we'd talk a little bit about, homesteading and how we got here. And, maybe if you're thinking about homesteading, you would enjoy this. This is something that we really enjoy, living out on the homestead and out in the country, is just having a campfire and being able to sit around it and enjoy the stars, and it's gorgeous out here. It's just one thing that we like to do and that we enjoy out here in the country. So welcome to our campfire. So we just want to talk about a little bit about maybe how we got started, with the homestead. And we were kind of in the suburbs, and we had a really, really expensive home, nice home. And I already had this land up here that I had inherited from my grandparents. And one day we just looked at each other and, and we said, why are we here? What are we doing? Why are we paying, for this house, that costs, so much money, when we have all this land up here that maybe we can live on and do something with and enjoy, and maybe I could have some chickens and we could have a garden and go live there. So we built a little shop, actually, and we put our house up for sale, and we sold it, and we moved up here and we lived in the shop. It was a Scott's wood shop for, I don't know, it was, how long did we live there? About 3 or 4 months?
Yeah.
3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months.
And then, we got our home, and the first year, I think it was late fall that first year when we moved up here. So we really couldn't do a whole lot. We already had a garden up here that Scott's dad.
We were only about, 20 minutes away from here, so we could maintain the garden.
Yeah, we did maintain the garden. And so that next spring, we just decided, let's plant a garden, see what we can do with that. And we did. And, we cleared all this land off. This was all, woods, and it was a lot of work, but it was kind of rewarding to be able to do that.
And at first, we've got tractors right now, but at first, when we first came up here, I don't think we had a tractor.
Yeah, we had.
And then we bought the first little small tractor. It didn't have a front end loader, so our first thing we did by hand, by hand.
Yeah, we would get, I think we used 4-wheelers to pull some of the logs.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we used the 4-wheelers to clear the land and pull some of those logs, and you had a chainsaw, and that's what we did. And it was a lot of work.
And where we are was really a heavily wooded area. It's grass growing, and we've got a pond back here. It's a pretty old pond, and you can actually see it from the house. But we did it a little at a time. I think if we would have, looking back, I looked at some pictures the other day and saw before we did anything, and I thought, wow, we've come a long way. But it's been 5 years, so.
Yeah, even up towards the front, most of it was, just woods, and you couldn't but the pond's been here forever. It was here when I was little, and this is, obviously, what I said, my grandparents' land. But even when I was little, it was all woods mostly. It was a little pasture, but in this area, it was mostly wooded, and there was just a little path where you could go down to the pond, and it was just completely.
So it's never been cleared like this?
No, not here, not in this area. It's never been cleared like it is now. It was, as long back as I can remember, it's always just been kind of woods in this area. So we cleared all that. It was hard work, but it was very satisfying, to clear that land and know that we were going to have a home here on, family land, really. And we do have quite, we have 46 acres, which is a lot, but, we're not gardening or using even a fourth of that, you
Right.
know.
I think we use about 5 acres, really.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we do use the other part.
Yeah, to hunt on or to whatever. But we walk in the woods a lot. We enjoy doing that. That's kind of satisfying when you walk back in the woods and we have a creek, some water on the land. It's our dream to one day build us a cabin, in the back.
Yeah.
Where we can, just kind of go and maybe have a well or something or a spring, for our water. There are a few springs on the land that we can use, but the main thing that we did first was we just moved up here, and one of the first things we did was actually stock the pond with some catfish.
Right, we did.
We did.
Catfish are really
yeah,
huge
they're
now.
huge now. I guess that is one of the first things we did.
Yeah, I think so.
They're like really, really huge now. So that's been about 5 to 6 years ago.
Yeah,
that we did that.
and we got a mobile home. I don't know about you, but I think I wish we'd have waited. I think.
Yeah, just lived in the shop
Yeah.
for a while and then built just a little cabin or something. But the good thing is we're not paying nearly as much, for a home as we did, that really, really nice home that we had. And it's so much more enjoyable out here, in the country. We cleared the land. We had the muscadine bush up there and kind of cleared it off. And we have those scuppernuggs every year, and we planted an apple tree, and we started.
The poor apple tree, I think, died.
Yeah, I think it died. It didn't have apples. I don't know what was wrong with it. I wish that we would have planted some more fruit trees, when we first moved up here, and they would be producing, now, instead of,
That's something we really need to do this year.
Maybe plant some fruit trees.
Plant a bunch of fruit trees.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Get them in good spots.
Yeah, I like peaches and apples would be great if we could have those. We do have a blueberry bush, and it actually is.
Well, we had 2 blueberry bushes, and we never could. The other one died.
Yeah,
we had 2 peach trees, and one of them died.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we need to invest in like a few of them, so maybe at least some of them will survive.
Chance.
Yeah.
But our ultimate goal was really to have a more simple life. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure we're there yet.
No, I don't know if we're there yet. We're
be careful how I say it, because we were also eventually going to downsize on our jobs.
Yeah.
Or I am, and I'm fortunate to work with 4 really, really good people. Been working for them for a long time, but it's getting time for me to it's a real stressful job. Mm-hmm. So, we're wanting to, we have cut back a lot. It's taken a lot of time.
One of the things, that's happened since we moved up here, was COVID. COVID changed a lot of things, and one thing it changed for me is that I'm now working from home, and I work from home every day, and that gives me, especially in the summertime, an opportunity, to come outside and take care of the chickens that I now have, and be with them. So that was, I think maybe that's one of the good things that may have came out of COVID. So I could just be at here and work from home. I work a full-time job too. But I can take care of my chickens and do things with them that I want to do.
On your break.
Yeah, on my breaks, on my lunch hour. Sometimes I come out here and I'll check on them and feed and water them. And in the afternoons, in the summertime, it's great. I can come and take care of them and clean them like they're supposed to be cleaned, and water them and take care of them. So that's one thing I really enjoy. Is being able to take care of them. And I just enjoy chickens. I always have. I guess I grew up with chickens. I had them my whole life until I got grown, and then, it was the the big house and not the country. And I was so glad when we came back up here and I was able to get the chickens, and I really, really enjoy them.
Yeah, we could tell you've got almost 30 chickens.
Yeah, I got 30 chickens, and I'm really, really excited about my silkies because they, I don't know, they're just so cute and fluffy and funny. And I got my babies that were born. I don't know, how old are they now? About
6 months, I think.
Not 6 months.
Oh, the little ones?
Yeah,
Maybe
they're about 6 weeks.
Maybe so.
And we got them coming up, and my plan is to get rid of some of those silky roosters and put the babies in there. We don't need that many silky roosters, so we're gonna have to do something about that eventually. But, yeah. But it is nice up here just to be able to just do things like this, like sit out in the country and look at out in the yard and look at the stars, you know.
You can normally, is it cloudy, Bill?
I think it's a little cloudy tonight, but normally, and it seems like out in the country, the stars are a whole lot brighter than they are.
You don't have all the light pollution.
Yeah. And then when the moon is full, it's just gorgeous, just to come outside and look up at the stars and the moon. I know when I was little, we lived here. We lived on this land, and that was one of the things that I enjoyed even when I was little, is coming outside and just laying on the grass and looking up at the stars, and I feel like, we don't have small children anymore, but if you're, thinking about starting a homestead and you have small children, it's just great for them to enjoy those little things, to get away from, the phones and the video games that they have nowadays, and kind of be outside and enjoy the homestead and the country life. I think that's really good for children. We watch a lot of other homesteaders that have kids, and they seem like they enjoy it so much, just to be outside and be with the animals, and it's just a simple life to be able to live.
Yeah, that's one thing I wish we would have done sooner, was like move out here when they were younger. You can't go back, making sure our sound is okay, but you can't go back, but this is where we are. But if you're maybe thinking about doing a homestead, and don't give up. It's taken us a lot. We're in our 50s, so it does seem a little late, but none of us know how long we've got. So we're in our 50s. Although it is late, us coming up here, I think everything in life has kind of been a learning experience.
That's
anyway.
right. And a lot of people that are older, once they retire and stuff, they'll go buy a beach home or a home in the mountains or something. So this is going to be our retirement and our time up here in the country.
I used to want a beach home until I saw my boss has one, and it's always
nice.
Something.
But it's nice. They look nice, and it'd be nice to be on the beach, but
it's always nice to stay in one if it's somebody else's.
That's right. But if it's your own, you got to pay for it and maintain it and all of that.
And I think throughout life, your priorities kind of change. Ours, like we said, we had a nice house, and it was just that, a house. And
right.
We really, it was just for us, it was a waste of money. Some people might be, okay with it, but for us it was. But
yeah, and you think about that, you can't take any of that with you. When you die, it's all gonna stay here. So why not, enjoy what you've got, and live out on the homestead like this. That was our thought anyway. So if any of y'all are looking to have a homestead, that's just some things to think about, just living the simpler life out in the country.
Exactly. It's, that's what homesteading is. There's so many homesteading channels, and I think probably most of them are well-established homesteaders. They've been doing it for a long time. A lot of them on YouTube. I think there's some starting out, but
and they make it look easy too, but it's really not. If you're wanting to start a homestead, it's really not real easy sometimes to do things, especially if you're, if you're trying to quit your full-time job and work on your homestead. It's hard to do sometimes, to juggle the homestead and work a full-time job.
Yeah, I think a lot of people on YouTube, they don't have that full-time job still.
Yeah.
So, and it's, they do make it look real easy. They've got all day to do whatever.
Yeah.
We're not at that point.
Well, we want to get there.
Yeah, we would like to get there, honestly. And, but this is hopefully to help inspire you that, it's just not too late to try, no matter what age you are, just, don't give up, just keep going. You're gonna have obstacles. I know we've had a ton of obstacles, still do every single day. But
another thing to think about too, if you're out in the country and if you do purchase a homestead or at least have a little bit of land out in the country, our son enjoys hunting, and that's one thing you can do, to provide, meat for the family, is to be out and, hunting and on your own land. That makes it nice. You're not in a hunting club or nothing like that. You can kind of do what you want to with your own land and go, hunt. It's rewarding, to do those kind of things on your own land.
Yeah, it is. If you get water, you hopefully you can get a pond.
Yeah, a pond is awesome, because that, you can use that to water a garden, or, you can stock it with fish. There was already, there's actually brim in our pond also that were in there. I guess they've been in there for quite a while now, for years.
Yeah.
That pond was actually built back, I think, in the 50s is when
50s or 60s.
Yeah, when the pond was built. There was some law or something that they did, and they would come help you build a pond or something on your land back then.
Yeah, I think your grandfather actually built it, and the dam was not constructed right. He said it wasn't the little V up under it.
Yeah.
So they came back in, whatever agency, and they built it.
Built it up.
Yeah, they built it right. And
Yeah.
back in it's either late 50s or 60s, somewhere in there. But, it was, it's been here a long time.
And, we talk about homesteads, but back in the day, that's what a lot of families did. It wasn't nothing but a homestead. You may have had a job, but you came home and worked in that garden and every day.
You didn't go on YouTube looking on how to do it.
Right.
About 3 years old, you were learning how to do whatever.
That's right.
And, especially out here in the country, there was, we look back where we are, they didn't get electricity until the 1950s.
That's right. Out here on this land, they didn't have electricity, and I think they tell the story about my mom being scared of the refrigerator when
Really?
they brought it in. She was scared of the refrigerator. She didn't know what it was.
That reminds me, my grandmother said they were scared of a car which the first car she saw, they ran and hid in the bushes. So
that's funny.
when it came down the road, but this was a very rural area, and most places were rural areas even back in the 50s. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I know to you younger people that seems like a really long time ago, but in the scheme of things, it's not quite as long
as what you think. Yeah.
As what you think. But the point is, I think we're kind of going back somewhat to a lifestyle they had, but I don't think people nowadays are built like our grandparents.
No, they're not, because they wasn't raised that way. They were raised, that's what they knew, is you grew a garden and you went hunting and you
had a full-time job and grew the garden.
Yeah, that's right. And there wasn't a whole lot of things that you went to the grocery store to buy. They
were very, very frugal back then. I've always wondered if people were on what we make now if we had the discipline to be as frugal as the people
Right.
back then, we'd probably be multimillionaires.
Right. Because they knew how to live, you know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them were born right after the Depression, and you know, it was really a time that, you know, they would just. I mean, I heard all kinds of stories of how they would.
Yeah, they would live back then.
Yeah, but it's like we're going, and sometimes it's kind of this romantic thing going back to, there, but, and some people truly wanting to go back to that lifestyle where you grow your own food. And, we miss that. We don't know where our food comes from anymore. And it's, I think it's good to know where your food comes from. We haven't done that good this year because we didn't have the garden this year because of a lot of projects, but we are going to go full blast this coming year, and hopefully have raised beds. I don't know for sure if we will, but we're going to try our best to have some raised beds.
I think it'll be easier to have the raised beds actually for some crops like the tomatoes and the cucumbers, maybe some peppers and some things like that. You probably, like the corn and the peas, we'll probably keep those in the garden. Maybe some potatoes in the garden. I don't know.
We'll probably, I don't know, the raised beds. Maybe
You think you can do raised? Yeah.
If we have enough raised beds, but
yeah, we could put some potatoes in there. They probably will do better. It seems like if you
potatoes did pretty good.
They did, but if you let them die out, you can't find them in the ground anymore. They're like gone. Yeah, we did learn that. They're like gone. You can't.
Yeah, once those things start dying, you better get them right there, or you're gonna lose them.
That's right.
So we did grow potatoes. Of course, corn will grow in the garden. Peas, we'll have to do that in the garden.
Maybe we can try some running butter beans in the raised beds or something like that. I think they would probably do better in a raised garden bed, like the running butter beans. We've tried those a couple.
But you have to put something for them to run on.
Yeah, well, yeah, you do.
What about just doing the bush butter beans?
Maybe so, because you would be, you kind of can pick them better if they're up, kind of raised. So we'll try the bush butter beans. Actually, we've tried the running butter beans a couple of times, and they didn't do good.
No, I think we need to go back to the bush butter beans.
Yeah. So
who was it that said we need to do that? Was it me or you?
I don't know. But the only thing when the bush butter beans are in the garden, they're kind of hard to pick because you can't see them. They're green, and that's one thing. You kind of have to bend down and get down there and pick those butter beans. We've got this little
thing you can scoot along.
Yeah, we do. We got a little kind of a little thing you can sit on and scoot along to pick them.
Yeah.
And I really, I go back. I don't know how my grandmother and my grandfather did that, every year. But I guess, like you said,
I'm telling you, they were built different.
They were.
Some people up the road that were talking to, their parents, Miss Joyce. We were talking about her dad. I mean, and this is a guy that he passed away. He up until probably, I think he died about 2 or 3 years ago.
Did he use a donkey or a horse?
No, he had a mule.
A mule, okay.
A real mule.
Okay.
And a plow to do his garden. I mean, he got out there and did it. He just liked the way it did better. And he had that till the donkey died, and it's not too long ago.
Right, right.
But I think he was they were, we've gotten so lazy with,
well,
in
it's
our
just
society.
we don't know how to do those things anymore, and it's something that I guess back then it was just passed on from one person to another, and you just knew how to do it, and now it's like you watch TV to learn how to do things, or watch YouTube to learn how to do things a lot of times.
But I think thanks to YouTube and thanks to social media, a lot of it is coming back.
I think so too. I think so too.
You know, like we've said before, even, you know, you don't have to have any land to have a garden. If you could actually have an apartment, and
right,
you can't have a garden, but
you can grow.
I think we made a video of this, you know, drilling some holes in a bucket, and you could grow your tomatoes there.
Yeah. You don't have to have a whole garden.
You're probably not going to be able to grow a lot for a whole year, but you can at least get a taste of it. That
right.
way, you know what you can look forward to when you want to get out and
actually be able to buy a homestead or whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
But you can do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And you can do something.
Yeah, and just, you know, like we tell everybody, just do it in baby steps. You know?
Right.
That's just like figure out what you want to do and do it in baby steps, and you'll get there. And good thing is the older you get, the faster the time goes by, and you.
That's right. The older young people, they don't realize how. I didn't when I was young. I didn't realize how fast time would go. You know, it just seems like it just is constantly spinning, and it goes faster and faster as you get older.
Yeah, it seemed like we were. Just like yesterday, we were 18 and had no problems.
Right. No kids, no nothing.
Yeah, no kids, no problems. And it just, boy, those were the good days.
They really were.
Listening to Bon Jovi. And, I mean, really, wasn't it?
Some people don't know what Bon Jovi is anymore.
Surely they do.
I don't know.
Everybody knows Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi, Eagles.
Yeah.
What else did we listen to?
I don't know.
Def Leppard, yeah.
Yeah, Def Leppard.
Homestead show talking about Def Leppard.
Yeah, Madonna, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We loved that.
Well, Madonna wasn't one you would turn the radio up and go cruising by, though.
No, she wasn't.
That was more of Def Leppard and Bon Jovi.
Right.
So,
back in the day.
Yeah. I don't know how we got on that.
Me neither. Nothing to do with homesteading.
Yeah. But, it's, but if you're thinking about it, and if you've got any questions, just let us know in the chat. We do read the chats, and we thank you for watching.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. If you're thinking about getting a homestead or something like that, we would love to hear, maybe your story about that.
Yeah, and, don't think just because we have, it's a lot of land to us, doesn't mean that you've got to have that much land.
Right, right. Like we said, we don't even, except to hunt on, we don't use that part of our land. We only use about 5 acres,
Yeah.
And even if we get cows or something in the future, I don't think we would use, maybe 1 more acre, because we're not planning on having a whole herd of, cattle. And we would probably
I would like cows one day.
Yeah, I would too. I think that would be neat to have a.
But the problem is, when he had cows, it was cleared off. We don't really have a pasture anymore.
We would have to clear. We would have to do what we did, here with the house. We would have to completely clear that off in order to get to get cows.
Which would be a major thing for cows.
Right, because you got to have some grass and stuff.
Another thing we've talked about is maybe getting some pigs, but I don't know. I'm scared. My fear is that we'll get pigs, and then
we won't be able to eat them.
Yeah, we won't be able to harvest them
because we care about animals so much. There's something, we can't. We're even worried about. We thought about getting meat birds, but
we're still going to do that. I think we could do that.
I don't know. I don't know if I can. I can't even, get rid of my roosters. So.
Yeah, but I think we're going to do that. I think we should do meat birds next year.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you do it? Would you have them?
Well, you got to have an area.
Like going across the grass.
They say that you make a a tractor thing
Yeah.
for them to, and we could put them over in the garden area and, let them fertilize the garden area. And the only other thing that I'm thinking about that is if you're raising meat birds, I've had several thoughts about that. If you're going to raise meat birds, I think that you need to harvest them in the fall time, in the late fall. So you would need to keep them, through the summertime. So I don't know if they'd be able to do the garden that way. But you could.
Don't they need to eat grass?
Yeah, they need to eat some grass and stuff. I mean, I guess you could put them down here by the pond and do the same thing. Just move the tractor around with them in it. Some people don't. They just build them a pen and put them in there and feed them real good.
But don't they taste better if they're grass fed?
Yeah, but I think I don't know. We need to look into that and decide if we can do that and what you feed them and stuff. We need to do some research on that.
And that's another thing. The reason we want to do it is get away from these bleached chickens that you buy in the store.
Right.
And, they, I think, aren't they bleached or something?
I don't know, but I know that I don't like to think of the way that any chicken is treated, whether you're buying the eggs or you're buying the actual chickens. It's just, it seems harsh to me the way that, they grow up in this small space and they're all stuck together. And some of them are just in cages when they're laying their eggs and they're in these little small cages. I would like to know that if I'm going to eat a chicken, that I raised it right and gave it a good life while it was living,
I watch some people that, they give it a good life up until that, that one day,
right,
when they harvest it. But
yeah,
up until then,
the
chicken
lived
a good life, and then they're real, they're real, I don't know what you call it, not politically correct about how they do the chicken, you know what I'm saying?
You treat them well. I mean,
when they do harvest them,
right,
you
do it right.
They do it in a way that hopefully doesn't cause quite as much pain
right.
for the chicken. And it's it does make you feel better about it, but you also know where, I believe that's why we have animals, but
we're to take care of them and treat them well, so we feel good about ourselves. And I think that's what we're meant to do, is as God's creatures, is take care of these animals that God put us here to take care of animals, and that we should, and take care of them and not treat them cruelly. Even if we're going to use them for meat, we should still treat them
we don't
well.
believe in treating any animal cruel.
Right.
There was a pigeon that, it was a white, beautiful pigeon that landed in the yard up front, and it was hanging around our chickens, and it had a little tag on it. And Sunday after church, I came in and look, and it's sitting there eating, just having a good time. Then we find out later that afternoon.
Then an animal got it, and it really made us sad, because
we wanted to capture it because we were scared it may not be able to survive in the wild, which I guess it wasn't because of the predators. But we really wanted to save that.
Yeah, and
we'll
take
see
care
if
of
it was a tag on it, somebody wanted it back or
right,
something.
Right. I was going to get it. I even thought about going and buying a net so I could capture it, and then maybe put it in with the chickens, till we could figure out if somebody.
But he was having a good time. He was just eating out with the free range chickens, just having a great time. It was just, but we do love animals. We've got our own animals inside that they're pretty spoiled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we just.
I think most anybody that has. There's not a whole lot of people that really abuse their animals, and anybody that has them, people love dogs and cats, and we do, we just love our animals.
There are some people that still aggravate you to death that, and I was talking to my mom today, and she's got, her neighbor has got a dog living in this little bitty cage, never gets out.
It's just sad.
It never gets out of that little bitty cage, and it's really disgusting that they do that. If you're not able to give that animal a good quality life, then
don't have it.
Yeah,
you
don't
know?
have it. Let somebody else have it that's going to take care of that animal.
Right.
And we have rescued how many how many, just the ones that are living here now?
Yeah, we've, let's see, I think all of our son's cats were strays, except maybe one somebody gave to him, but two of them were strays that just came up, and one of ours is just a stray that my daughter rescued.
She rescued it working at a bookstore.
Yes, she did. It was outside of the bookstore.
Was it outside or next door of the book? It just walks right in.
Yeah, it was next door.
This was a busy area.
Yeah, and and I think that's Bam. He may be on some of our videos, but he is a wonderful cat. We love him. He's just laid back, and he'll go in the chicken pen and just lay with them. He don't try to hurt them or anything. He'll just go stare at them and get in the chicken pen and wants to help me, clean a little bit in the chicken pen.
He's gotten where he's very lazy and weighs a lot.
Yes, he does weigh a lot. He weighs 19 pounds, and that's huge for a cat.
Yeah, it literally will hurt your back if you pick that cat up.
Right.
But
he comes outside. He does catch things. He catches rodents and those kind of things. So he is a little bit useful.
We intended for him to be kind of an outside cat, but we're scared to leave him outside
at night
around here because we're scared something will get him.
Mm-hmm. And he does go out, but he has gotten lazy lately. He likes to stay in. He don't like the cold, so he likes to stay.
If it's a cold day, a rainy day, he just stays inside and looks out the window.
Yeah.
He just,
but
give your animals a good life,
right?
Whether they're cat or farm animals or whatever, you do need to give them a good life,
right?
But
right.
Something else I would like, but I would have to be totally retired from work, is a milk cow.
Yes, I think that would be so neat if you could.
Wasn't our preacher going to get a milk cow?
I think so, but his wife wanted him to get a milk cow. He said he didn't know how that was going to work. But I guess we'll have to learn how to milk the cow if we got a cow. But that would be really.
Cow when you was growing up?
No, I did not actually. Now, when I was real little, we didn't have cows until I was about 11. And then my grandfather had cows, but they wasn't milk cows. They were just beef.
I'm sure he did when he was growing up.
Yeah, he did, and he actually had them for quite a while. Just not when I think.
But did he ever talk about he had a milk cow?
Yes,
grandfather?
he had a milk cow. But again, that's just what you did up here in the country.
Yeah, you didn't have a milkman.
No, you didn't have
a milkman.
Well, we didn't have no milkman.
Milkman
did not come to see us.
And you didn't believe we had a milkman.
I didn't.
We did have a milkman.
Well, I didn't know anything about a milkman when I was little.
You knew there was milkmans.
Yeah,
didn't you?
well, I just didn't know that they were still around. Maybe you're just old.
I'm not old. And it wasn't the glass bottles either that they brought. My mother said they had, those glass bottles?
Yeah.
They'd set them outside.
Oh, well, what kind did y'all have when the milkman came?
We'd leave the door unlocked and he'd go set it in the refrigerator.
Like, was it a milk jug?
No, it was the carton with the person's, it had a missing picture on the back of it.
Oh, okay.
It was you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. But I didn't.
Carton.
I didn't have a milkman. Sorry.
I don't think we ever got my mom was so cheap. I don't think, and look, he had milk. I think he had the eggs. He brought a dozen eggs. He brought milk. And that was it for us. The neighbors across the street got popsicles.
Oh.
And we would go to their house. Mom never would get popsicles.
Well, we did go. We went to the grocery store to get our milk and stuff. I didn't have a milkman. I wasn't privileged.
Yeah, you just had that. It was Borden's milk.
Well, okay.
And it was really cool.
Our fire's died down.
Well, now they had an Iceman. Did you have an Iceman?
No, I did not have an Iceman.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
We put the little trays in the refrigerator and
No, I
we
don't
had
mean
kids.
that. I mean before electricity.
No,
they
I wasn't.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They would have
I'm
the
not
ice
that old.
box. And
Have
no,
an
I'm
ice
not
bin.
either. But they would have, you know, they'd bring a block of ice.
Well,
I think they did here, back
Bring
at
a
your
block of ice?
grandparents' house.
yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
I don't know, but we didn't.
They had to because,
Or they just didn't have ice. I mean, I don't know.
well, surely they did.
I don't know. I don't know how that worked.
They didn't have a lot of luxuries back then.
But anyway, we're going to try to do some more of this campfire talk. If you want to join us sometime next week, we'll do some more of this. We may try to get us a little fire pit or something also to have out here. We had one. What happened to our fire pit? I don't know what happened to it.
I think it finally burnt out.
Yeah, it did. So we didn't get a new one. So I would like to have another fire pit.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Right now, it's just logs on the ground,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what you do. You don't have to. You don't have to have a fire pit. You know, just put the logs on the ground.
And you could cook on that.
Yeah, a hot dog would be good. A hot
Not
dog.
A hot dog. We're talking about eating healthy.
Yeah, well,
And a hot dog is not
well,
really a
that's what you-
homesteading thing.
maybe it's not, but that's what I think about when I
Like
look at the
fry
fire.
fish on it or something.
You know, my grandpa used to fry fish over the fire like that. Did you know that? He did. He would go. He had catfish in this pond, and he would catch them out of there, and he would build a fire and fry those fish.
How did his
It
little
was-
bucket hold up? Was it something that held it?
I think so. I can't remember because I was little. But he'd put his bucket up there and fry the fish outside over the fire. You know, that's another thing. You know, I wish maybe we should try that one day. I don't know how he kept it from getting, you know, his grease from getting too hot, but he did do it over the fire. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'd eat outside and fry fish when I was
Or-
little.
Yeah, we could bake some fish. It'd be more healthy.
Yeah, probably would.
But yeah, we ought to do that sometime. We'll
Yeah.
do that live.
Yeah, that would be cool.
When we burn it, everybody will know. That one, yeah, you can't edit that.
You know. Yeah, all right. So we appreciate y'all watching us, and we hope that, you know, some of our homestead talk will help y'all. If you're deciding to get a homestead, you know, we'd love to hear, you know, your comments or things below, or maybe some things that you enjoy on your homestead, like having a fire outside like this. So
Yep. So we hope to be back Monday night. We try to do these every night, 7:30, discussing different topics. And
if there's a topic you want to hear about, just let us know in the comments. Let us know about that.
yeah, let us know. We'd love to hear about it. But we're trying to do it weeknights at 7:30. So we'd like to chat with you. But thank you again for watching, and hope to see you next week. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.